Hey guys, this is Starry from StarrySky Gaming, and welcome to the Secrets of the Ring video. So in this video I want to be showing you a few things about hard light, like what used to be used, what used to be good, and what now is kind of like the best thing to use for hard light, because everyone knows since hard light's revamped, right, it's just not as fun. People class it as being crap, it's not as good as competitive as it used to be, but honestly that's not the case anymore. There was a loadout particularly I've come up with and that I use, which is really strong, and you're able to compete with top DPS powers and even beat them for burst damage in alerts and so forth. But first of all I want to show you what the old kind of stuff people used to use, like we used to use fan. I want to show you the reason why not to use them anymore, because the construct precision side of hard light is, another way of saying it, for it's dead. The way to go forward for hard light is to go a might based loadout. So this is what I'm going to be showing you. Alright. So with hard light, the way it used to be going is the was always like snaptrap fan. You know, always fan, AoE burst damage. But what they've done to it is it's honestly just not that good anymore. Even with weapon masteries, power fan is bad skill, and I will show you why. Okay, so let's go and get fan. And I don't need anything in there at the time being. So let's get DPS and 8. And, you know, I want to show you this because it is particularly interesting, and you can see how bad for yourself fan has become. Alright, there it is. Let's just put it in that slot. But also we want to make sure we have a decent one. So first of all, fan, what used to be the main AoE skill for hard light, the big precision based damage from like snaptrap, but now honestly that's not the way to go. I also will be showing like the loadout I will be using for melee and the loadout I use for range for people, because the best loadout there is the one for range, and it's a skill in hard light that does some serious badass damage. Okay, so the first thing about fan is that it's significantly been nerfed into the ground. So, like, you know, fan, as you can see, it only hit one target, right? It didn't even hit 3 of its targets. Even with chompers going, you got fan, right? And people are like, oh, you just hit 2.5k. That's going to be some nice damage. But if you notice, they only hit the one target out of all those 3 ones there, right? So this is what I'm going to show you. So, right, so even on a single target, you've got fan. Right, just hit 2.8k, people are going to go, ooh, that's nice. Right, so let's chop this again, and then we do snap trap into fan. You know, I can get up to 7k crits with fan on a single target. On 2 targets, I hit 3 to 4k. If people are people who are experienced with hard light, you pretty much know what I'm getting at. So right, look, so now the 2 things I'm going to show you about fan, which particularly have made fan a dead power to use now for, because if you're using fan, you're actually doing less damage than you could be doing. So watch, right, there's 8 targets there, watch how many fan hits. Let's see if I can try and get, so right, fan should have a big frontal cone area, right, for massive AoE damage. It only hits a small area. So if I'm staying here, see how many I hit? The AoE area, the AoE radius of fan is actually not that big compared to other powers in the game. But also, if you notice how much it splits, even with chompers, we do weapon mastery into fan. It's only hit like 1k, and that was on 3 targets, so. But it can only hit like 4 or 5 as well, within that small area. Once it starts hitting those more than 3 targets, it will only do, if you're lucky, you might get over a 1k crit. Even with the precision one, you have snap trap into fan. As you saw there, it just did like a 1700 on a few targets. Right, the first 3. As soon as it hits 4 targets, you'll be lucky if it hits under 1000. And also, the big area effect of it is not that good. So if you have a massive group of ads there, you're only going to hit the first front view, and you're only going to hit like max 4 at one time. So people are probably thinking, alright, the way to go is going to be into chompers. Now chompers only used to hit 4 targets, but now they've made it so it hits everything and it splits terribly as well. So this is a few things for you to think about, right? And I tried a lot of hard light, you know, going into tried power fan, pop rotation, snap temperature fan, and you know, I was working my ass off for damage, and I was wondering like, well, I'm gonna get my DPS by like a couple 100,000 and so forth, right? When the damage on my screen still just like, you know, looks monstrous, but still I was getting out to get damage. So I've had to actually take a hard look at what I was doing, and thanks to the sparring tactics of the Dcuo, managed to find out the weaknesses of hard light, but also I've managed to find out the strengths of hard light and where I'm going wrong for massive group AoE. So literally, I just do not use fan anymore. Let's see if there's anything else I should tell people about some of the weaknesses of hard light. People also using grasp in hand. Okay, let's just go put some this. Alright, so let's put grasp in hand there, and let's put snap trap there. Right, so if you're a hard light DPS and you're using you know, grasp in hand into fan, or using snap trap into fan, I know I see a lot of people using grasp in hand into fan. One, you're using lowest damage modifier. 2, you're using a skill with a longer animation into fan compared to snap trap into fan. And as I've just shown you, right, the AoE radius of fan is small. The split on fan is not that good. So if you're using grasp in hand into fan, not only are you using a skill which is single target and a long animation into fan, so you're going to be going from single target, long animation into fan, which has a small radius and splits badly. Overall, you're doing a lot less damage than you could be. So this is what I want to show you, and I want to correct you on, and actually show you what you should be using, and well, can potentially be doing a lot more damage with. Okay, so literally, right, this is the photo. So you're literally going to have grasp in hand, and then you got fan. So single target, small radius. So literally, if I'm going up against someone who literally can hit all 8 targets with every weapon mastery and their rotation and got dots at the same time, I'm already lost. See where I'm starting to come from? Even if you use the faster one of snap trap into fan, yeah, it's quicker, and that AoE prick damage was from the spark, which saved from the proc of my weapon, so if it doesn't proc again. So literally, weapon mastery, you know. So snap trap into fan, a lot quicker, but single target into a small conal AoE area. So weapon mastery, single target, small cone, splits for hundreds. Even with the power interaction, you know, you're losing a lot of AoE damage. So from range on a big group, you're already going to be miles behind. Even though you think you're doing a lot of damage, you're actually not. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go pause the video, reset my PowerPoints, and I'll be showing you the exact loadout I use for hard light DPS, and which is allowing me to compete with other powers and even beat them, or even still, if they beat me, it's not by much. It allows hard light to literally regain some respect at being a really strong DPS power. Even people in my league currently Slay Station, you know, they've realised that actually hard light's really good now. Some of them have even gone back to hard light and they're using this loadout, and they are actually doing a lot of freaking damage with it. So right, I'm going to pause my video and I'll be back in a minute. Right, I'm back, guys. I've reset my PowerPoints and I'm going to be showing you what I use for range, and you'll see the damage that it's capable of. Okay, so first things first, let's do my PowerPoints, and you'll see that I'm not even going to take fan anymore because, as you've seen, it's not worth it. Small radius, splits badly. Okay, so if you notice, no fan at all, because in this loadout, as people might seem to know, it's the Mighty Might loadout for it. No constructs, all might base damage, but a lot of might base damage. And also, with this loadout, I get everything I want. Okay, so the loadout is Chompers, Inspiration, Snap Trap, a very interesting skill, In-Trap. Now this is a really strong skill, and you'll see why in a minute. A Robot Psychic, and then Strafe and Run. Let's put my dual wield on. Alright, so with this loadout, we have our AoE, burst and damage over time, covers a massive area, plus also dazes everything. We have our weapon buff, we have our single target, burst and dot. This skill, this skill is amazing. Now this skill doesn't need any power action to be good of it, and also it does not split at all. I will show you why. So literally, right, this skill can hit 8 to 10 targets and none of the damage will split. This is a new revolutionary skill to use for hard light DPS, for big groups of mobs. Then we have Robot Psychic, permanent DOT. This thing is just amazingly good. And then of course our badass supercharge, Strafe and Run. So, first of all, I will show you the skills with the weapon masteries, and then I'll show you what to do for AoE, and I'll show you what to do for single target, because this loadout covers single target and raid. Well, this loadout covers single target and AoE, I should say. So literally, right? Chompers, massive AoE, splits badly, but leaves still good AoE burst damage, and leaves the damage over time, but dazes everything. So, I know a lot of people use Chompers for all the AoE, but as you can see, it splits really, really badly. And on single targets, right, when it comes to bosses and so forth, right, this thing crits for like 4k. But sparring targets, for some reason, it doesn't show as much damage as it should be. But Chompers can hit like over 4k on one target. Chompers' strength and weaknesses is where it starts splitting from. Now, it starts splitting after 2 targets, but after 3 targets, it starts splitting to the point where it's really, really badly. On 2 targets, it can hit 3 to 4,000 still. 3 targets, it will hit like 2 to 3,000. 4 targets is where it starts splitting to like maybe 1,000, a couple of hundred underneath. So as you can see, the damage is quite the same. But just on a single target, it does bigger numbers. 2 to 3 targets, it'll still do the same. Well, 2 targets would do like 3 to 4,000. 3 targets, it would do 2 to 3k. And as you saw on the group of 8, it does hundreds, but at least a small damage over time. So Hard Light was really, really lacking a massive AoE burst damage without splitting badly, and nothing covered it. Not any of the precision-based ones, no fan, small radius. So literally, problem solved is in Trap. Right. This needs no power interaction to get the damage. So, hits all 8 targets. And you see the damage? All was the same. Did not split. Look at that. So if you have a group, or I should say a massive group of ads, so like about 10, 12 or whatever, right? This thing will hit all of them, and it can hit them for over 2k. Right, I'll tell you how good this thing is, right? When I'm buffed with my supply drop, trinket, and inspiration, I've hit 8 to 10 targets for over 3k each. And all I was doing was weapon mastery and then trap, weapon mastery and then trap. And I'm constantly hitting like 2,000 to 3,000 on big groups of bad with my weapon mastery. So much burst damage, non-splitting. Now some people are thinking, oh, why don't you use like, you know, weapon mastery and then chompers for damage over time? It splits and the damage over time sucks. So by the time I've done that skill, I could have done weapon mastery and then trap, you know, and critted for like thousands and thousands at a time. This is the revolutionary skill, and this is the way to go for hard light. This loadout just rocks. So literally, for AoE, on 2 to 3 targets, we use chompers. So 3 targets for AoE, well, 2 to 3 targets, we use chompers. So that's all we use for AoE for 2 to 3 targets. Anything more than 4 targets, so literally you see it's on right, we wouldn't go weapon mastery chompers, right, to hit all the targets for, because it splits and the damage time sucks. We would do weapon mastery in trap. But obviously we would use inspiration to get ourselves buffs, so we'd run inspiration, trinkets, all this good stuff, and then we would constantly do weapon mastery and then trap. As you can see what I mean, it does not split, and you get some serious badass damage from it. That's all we do for massive AoE burst damage. Now, for single target is where this loadout and hard light really kicks in. All we do is we do weapon mastery, chompers inspiration, weapon mastery, snap trap, weapon mastery, chompers, weapon mastery, snap trap. Now, the reason why we do this for is because this will allow us to have 2 damages over time and an instant burst damage from chompers and snap trap. Now snap trap really does pay dividends to having chompers into it for. Instead of some people just go weapon mastery snap trap, weapon mastery snap trap. It's not the way to do it for, because chompers is burst, dazes, and damage over time. Snap trap does more damage when stuff is dazed, it's burst damage, and it does damage over time. Now for some people thinking, why didn't you add like maybe grasp and hand into it to make 3 dots? Tried it, does not work. Damage over time from chompers lasts 6 seconds. Damage over time from snap trap lasts 6 seconds. Damage over time from grasp and hand lasts 6 seconds. So by the time I've done, even the time I've done dual wield chompers, dual wield snap trap, dual wield grasp and hand, the dot from chompers has literally just run out as soon as grasp and hands hit its target. So there's no point running 3 dots, when by the time you've done your rotation, one's just run out, especially if you're using hand blasters. By the time you've got to do the second one, halfway through your combo, the first one's run out. So you're only ever going to have time to have 2 dots permanently. So there is no need to have chompers, snap trap, and grasp and hand as a single target damage for it. Just use chompers and snap trap. This way, you're constantly refreshing the dots, and there's always going to be 2 dots permanently during your rotation with constant high burst damage. As you've seen what I was doing on a single target loadout. Well, on a single target. And this is all you do when it comes to single target. You're also going to have your robot spike kick doing its constant dot damage all the time. And then we have our massive AoE damage from Entrap. We have chompers for 2 to 3 targets. But if you have 4 targets and they're spread out over a big area, you can still use chompers because it covers a bigger area than Entrap. Entrap only covers literally the area of what it is, a small area, but it still does so much damage. And this is literally what you should be doing for hard light DPS now if you really want to compete and put out some serious badass numbers with it for. I will be uploading some videos of this loadout in action. You've already seen some from my Mighty Might DPS one. This is what this loadout is called. It's the Mighty Might DPS hard light DPS loadout. And this video is literally going to be showing you the secrets of it all. So what I'm also going to do now is I'm going to pause the video since I've shown you what to be using for range and why, you know, this loadout is seriously the best way to be going for, and what might is the way to be going for hard light. So in your sockets, use precision health, precision and might, and precision and power. Now the reason we're still precision for is because so much damage comes from your weapon mastery, and you get, and thanks to all the new gear, you get so much more might from the gear that literally if you go full precision, or you can go precision and might. You're still going to have a really good high amount of precision, and you're going to have a good balance of might as well. So this will allow you to do really good damage with your weapon masteries and from the might based loadout. So anyway guys, I'm going to pause the video, go respec my PowerPoints, come back, and then I'll show you what to be doing for melee hard-light DPS as well. Hey guys, I'm back. I've reset my PowerPoints, and now I'll be taking you through what to do for hard-light melee DPS. So, since we're no longer be using fan for hard-light DPS in World 4 because of the small radius and the split it does, we need to find something else which does high might-based damage, maybe also a construct involved in it as well, which is AoE damage. So, what we're looking to do is we're only going to be using the combo of Chainsaw. Well, into Ram as well. So literally, we just need to spec down the middle. We also want to get our Supercharge, we want to get Chainsaw, and we want to get Ram so we can able to construct it. And then we're able to go and support. We also want to get our shield, because we're going to be melee, so we're completely changing our loadout and the way we play. We're also going to get our weapon buff, and that gives us 3 power points left over to get our 2 iconics and our robot sidekick. I've also people thinking, oh well, didn't get chompers. There's no need to get chompers. We can be using Spike Quake for a power interaction and small damage over time. So now we've got Spike Quake, we got our inspiration, we have our shield, we have our dots, we have our supercharge, and we have our priority main DPS skill, Chainsaw into Ram. And the weapon of choice for this, preferably one-handed, but you can use hand blasters for it. The 2 best weapons for melee are one-handed, probably the top best one, and then hand blasters is second for it really, because of the haymakers that does so much damage. And literally, the reason why this loadout works particularly well for is because, well, we have our instant damage, we have damage over time, and we have Daze effect, AoE Daze effect. Then we have our weapon buff, we have our self shield. Now this is particularly really good because we're going for melee. And then this is basically, with all the CC in the game, we can break out, gives us protection, also deals a lot of damage. So light barriers are very essential for melee. Then we have Chainsaw. This is a AoE skills. When we use this power after weapon mastery, does a lot. It can do like 4 to 5k AoE damage. And then with tap and range afterwards, it does a construct precision based Ram, which is AoE, well, frontal AoE, which we clip with Spike Quake afterwards. Then we have our permanent damage over time and our supercharge. Oh, I was like, yes, it's a strong DPS power game. Now, I am not originally the person who came up with the Chainsaw combo, you know, so that is not my credit to the load. But the loadout you see now is, and the way to use it with the ranged one is, you know, so have fun with it, take pride in it, you know. It's good to be a hard light, you know, and it does do a lot of damage. You can competitively deal with melee and ranged damage now. I hope this video is enlightened you and brought some maybe some joy to you, that, you know, now you know that hard light is capable of competing with some DPS powers, because as you see, there is ways to do a lot of damage with range, and now there is a good way to do a lot of damage and a good loadout for melee. But anyway, let's actually, so before I stop the video, let's actually see what kind of damage I can get from it. Ooh, do you see that? 4k and a 5.2k on multiple targets. Nice. Nice damage. So as you can see, it hits, as I said before, right, it hits multiple thousands at one time. Chainsaw is just so good. And then when you follow up with Ram afterwards, that's 3 instant damage that we got because we clipped it with Spike Quake. Have fun, guys. Let me know how you get on with it. I know this video's long, but I hope it's been worth watching. You know, now you know what to use. That might-based way is to go for hard light. Even though the sockets are precision and might for the red, precision health for blue, and precision and power for the yellows. Still precision based for your thing, basically because of your weapon because of your weapon masteries, but the loadout itself is might based. But anyway guys, so have fun with this, let me know how you get on. I hope you've enjoyed this video, and I hope some people will return to being hard light DPSs and have fun with the power game. But anyway guys, thank you very much for watching this, and until next time, I will see you then.